And this morning we're going to be talking about emotional support guides. So, what exactly does that mean? What we're talking about is being better at being human, the factor of human kindness. There is a very important role that emotional support guides serve in the Thrive Tribe, and that's because people, and people need people who would listen. We basically want individuals in our lives who will listen to understand rather than listen to respond. Listen to understand rather than listen to respond. So, what does that look like? When somebody is talking to you and you are having an issue, you can kind of see them do one of these, right? And you know that they're not fully listening to you and garnering your every word, like hanging on your every word to kind of digest what you're doing. And when you're in crisis or when you're going through a problem, that gets you a little frustrated. But more so, the role of an emotional support guide, the role of somebody that supports us through an emotional crisis is so that we don't feel isolated and we don't feel alone and we don't feel lonely, because we could be in a room full of people. We're not alone, but we're definitely lonely. So, how do I be an emotional support guide? Whether you're doing that with us in the Thrive Tribe with Operation Shockwave at an event, or you're doing that as part of your daily life, you can be an emotional support guide for others. So, the first thing you want to do is recognize when something's wrong. You really need to pay attention. You need to give 100% to those individuals in your life and really practice that authentically, practice that on a genuine basis. So when you're opening the door for someone, instead of saying after me, right, say after you. Engage in people and be cognizant, be situationally aware as to what is going on in those people that are close to you, but really raise your vibrational frequency and look at those people that maybe you don't know, strangers. And this is what it means to thrive. This is what it means to be part of a tribe, because every single one of us human beings, every single one of us are part of the same tribe. So we want you to be cognizant of knowing that something's off, right? Getting that gut feeling that, Uncle Charlie is just not, there's something wrong with him. He's not acting himself. He seems sad. He seems depressed. He seems wanting something. Paying attention to that and going with that feeling. Number two is you're going to want to ask, what's going on with you, and creating that kind of judgment-free zone to come out freely and say, hey, anything that's going on with you is not going to change the way I feel about you. I just want to know so I can better understand, right? So I can better understand. And more importantly, don't ask unless you're in a place to receive, right? You have to be ready to get that response. What can I do to help make you feel better? How can I help? The best question that I have ever asked, and those that know me well will know, that is my go-to question. Somebody gives me this huge problem, they go on for 10 minutes. And I say, I'm sorry you're going through that. I understand your frustration. I can hear your frustration. How can I help? Right? What can I do to help make you feel better? One of the most important things is not to say things like, well, it could be worse, right? And it's also about how you ask. You want to ask from a genuine place. So make sure you work on your tone, make sure you work on eye contact, and make sure you're working on specifically your body language, right? So if you're asking, well, how can I help you make you feel better? I mean, that's not going to work. So you need to be open, you need to be ready to receive. And the third thing is be prepared, because this is a hard conversation to have. We're talking about feelings, and feelings make us feel icky. And not just feelings from the person that is going through something tough, but your feelings, right? Because maybe the issue has to do with you. So the sharer and the recipient are both going to have feelings involved in this situation. Problems are going to inevitably come up, and you need to be in the right headspace and timing to engage with the individual that you're trying to support. Remember that you don't have to fix the problem. You are an emotional support guide. You have to support someone through this problem. There are tons of resources out there in order to help you get your loved one or your veteran or the person that you're trying to help through this problem. If you come to an obstacle, we can definitely help you with that, right? We believe in the warm handoff. And if we can't specifically help you here in the Thrive Tribe, then we will navigate with you. But the important thing is to not leave the person alone, to walk with them every step of the way and help them through that process. So again, how can I help? Okay, this is what you need. I don't know how to do that. I'm not good with X, Y, or Z, but I know somebody that can help you, and be there with them. But do not minimize what the issue is. If they come to you with a problem and it's like, oh my gosh, you can't load the dishwasher, be like, that's what your issue is? That's not what we're looking at. This is a real problem for them. Whether they're homeless or they can't load the dishwasher, we're talking about a real significant issue. Perception is reality. So I want you to be able to engage with them on a real basis. And sometimes it's important to share, but definitely don't overshare. Remember, this is not about you. This is about them. You are being an emotional support guide for them. So while it's good to commiserate, focus on them. Don't focus on you, okay? Nobody likes the one-upper. Oh, I was there for one time. I was also homeless, okay? It's good for people to share mutual experiences, but we want to help the other person, not necessarily share our story to the fuller extent, okay? Also, it's important to let that person share, that person set the pace, right? So if they come at you with this huge issue, boom, and then the conversation stops, silence is not your enemy. Silence is not your enemy. I want you to be able to hold a safe space. So if the tears start flowing, it's tough, okay? Let all that happen and create that judgment-free zone, create that safe space. If you're in a crowd, let's move to an area where that can continue, and just reassure your veteran, reassure the individual that you're helping, reassure them that you are here and you're not going to let them be by themselves, okay? But it's their story, it's their issue, it's their problem, and now you're there with them. Let them set the pace, okay? You can guide them without rushing or pushing to a solution, because perhaps they've been carrying this for so many years, right? And the fact that they're now sharing, that's huge. That should be applauded. And they have let you into their sacred space. So allow them to set the pace. Know your resources, right? So obviously you're watching this video, so you're curious about what an emotional support guide is. If you're coming to one of our events and you have volunteered to be an emotional support guide, we want you there early so you can get the ins and outs and the schedule of what the event looks like. But we definitely need you there a little bit early, and we want you to remember that you need to take the time if you need it, right? Ask your questions, find the people that are in charge at the event, and remember that you are part of the team. With that being said, self-care is paramount. So when we are emotional support guides, you can also consider yourself an emotional support container, right? It's like we are opening up ourselves like this, and all of those feelings and all of that stuff is getting poured inside of us. And then at the end of the day, boop, the container gets closed, and we just walk around with all of this, stress and tension and anxiety and depression and all these things, and a lot of happiness too, because we've helped, right? We've helped, but now what do we do with it? Who's our emotional support guide? Who's our outlet? What are we doing? So self-care includes a myriad of things, whether it's music or exercise or nutrition or some of our complementary healing modalities and the programs that we have with Shockwave. We include, there's so many things that you can do, But remember, the best way to make everybody comfortable is that you, as the emotional support guide, are prepared to be one. So, with that being said, I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions at all, please let us know, and we'll definitely see you at the event. If you're not ready to be an emotional support guide, that's okay. We can definitely get you to that level because we know you want to help. But just like not every service animal, or rather, every animal is capable of being a service animal, not every human is capable of being an emotional support guide. And that doesn't mean that you are less than. That just means that we need to give you some of those tools and train you to be an emotional support guide. Everyone can be there for a friend. And what you definitely need to remember to get onto the path of being an emotional support guide is that you just need to be better at being human. You just need to be open to listen, and you just need to be more kind to one another. There are some skills that are involved at being an emotional support guide, and we would love to share those with you. So get in touch with us, and we'll see you guys next time.